Thank you very much, especially to the people who have hung on gamely since the morning, listening to every speaker respectfully. The good news is that I'm the last in the lineup, and so just as the traffic builds up, you will head home. Jensen Huang, whom we all know very well, he runs a $5 trillion company, the only $5 trillion company ever, talked about in one of his presentations, he talked about the evolution of AI. And for the first almost 60 years, from 1956, when AI, the word was formed, we had what he called perceptive AI, which is, or we also call it, predictive AI or analytical AI, machine learning, deep learning, natural language programming, all of the good AI that we had before ChatGPT kind of burst on the scene. And the second AI, according to him, is, as we all know, generative AI. And the difference being that simply put, predictive AI predicts what's going to happen. Generative AI doesn't predict, it creates, it generates. And all of us are now awed by generative AI. We are mostly in love with it, sometimes a little fearful of it. But the next AI, according to him, which actually we are going through right now, the next wave, is Agentic AI, AI and agents. And so if an AI tool can tell you what to do, an AI agent can do it for you. And so multiple possibilities around Agentic AI. And then, according to him, the fourth wave, which has just about begun, and maybe very, very early, is where AI gets a physical form. And that, according to him, is physical AI. We know it as robotics. We talked about it a lot. According to him, though, the first physical robots which will be out there, real physical AI robots, I mean, we have had many in factories. The Hyundai chief manufacturing officer talked about it, etc. But super intelligent robots, according to him, actually are going to be autonomous cars. And so autonomous cars are nothing but AI, and it's kind of wrapped around AI is a car's body. And then obviously the humanoids. So in our mind, whenever we think robots, because we are anthropomorphizing, we think of this head and two arms and two legs, etc. But robotics is much more. You saw the tractor example, that's robotics. I mean, there are robotics, actually robots without a physical form in terms of robotic process automation, for example. And so we've had robotics for a while, but according to him, it hasn't even begun. And the fourth wave, he says, will be bigger than the first, second, and third put together. And in decades, not centuries, a couple of decades, maybe lesser, there'll be more physical robots than human beings on Earth, as per him. But if that is AI, what about us, human beings? And so, we human beings are very good at creating tools and technologies which make us the number one species, the pole species. And so we have, many thousand years back, we created a set of tools and technologies which created what we call the agricultural revolution, made food available to all of us. And then another set of tools and technologies created the industrial revolution. Labor became much more available. And then there was a few more revolutions. And then there was we created something which we call the internet and search. And it created the information revolution. Information became available, free, democratized. Before every such revolution, we human beings are both super excited, as I'm sure all of you here are, and also a little concerned, as I'm sure all of you here are, because these revolutions don't just change the way we work or the way we do business. They change everything. They change how we live, our society, our country, geopolitics, the planet, humanity itself. And the next revolution, of which robotics is a part, is where we are standing at the cusp of, where a new set of tools and technologies, which we call artificial intelligence, is now going to create the intelligence revolution, in which intelligence will become free. And I'm saying this again because we don't realize it. Intelligence becomes free, freely available on tap for all of us. And in this one also, we kind of are excited, but also concerned because we know that it's going to change everything. And what I want to tell you in the next 3-4 minutes is actually AI and robotics is not just a technology. It's not a mere technology. It's a profound shift in the way humans and machines interact. Whenever, for example, you write a prompt on ChatGPT or any other tool, you're actually writing code. Because except that, the first time you used to write code to make a machine do something in a machine's language, now you're doing it in your natural language. And so in many ways, English has become the new coding. And therefore vibe coding, etc., some of the words that you hear of. Agents are becoming the new platform. Agentic AI will change many things. It will change in enterprises, SaaS, for example. Software as a service is going to become service as a software, as humans and agents work together. Our teams, as however diverse we are, is still human beings. Soon, our teams are going to be human beings plus AI agents. My team, I'm just 3 people and about 5 or 6 AI agents. We do more stuff than I used to do 4 or 5 years back with 10 human beings. In fact, Jensen Huang, the same Jensen Huang, said that IT will become the HR of AI agents. And so HR will be responsible for getting human beings into a team. IT will be responsible for getting agents or robots into that same team. Chat has become the new search. The browser, the dumb browser, is going away. AI browsers like Comet, etc., coming up. E-commerce will change to what is called agentic commerce. So some things I'm throwing at you to tell you that, look, everything is changing. Everything. It's that kind of revolution. In fact, Yuval Noah Harari and some of the other authors say that humanity itself changes. So according to him, the next evolution of the human species will be human plus robot or human plus AI. So, you had Homo erectus and Homo australopithecus and now Homo sapien. The next one is Homo Deus, which is us plus a robot. And that's why Neuralink and all the, injection of AI into human brains, etc., that Elon Musk and some of the others are doing. So it kind of transcends humanity. And so if all of this is happening so much, every morning you wake up, there's a new humanoid robot out there. There's certainly a new tools out there. There's a Sora 2 coming in, a VO3 coming in. How do you kind of keep up? How do you wrap your arms around it? And honestly, that is what I have been working on for the past 1.5, 2 years, having been in tech and AI for the longest time. But basically, I believe that the definition of literacy is going to change. Literacy was about reading, writing, adding, arithmetic. Now it's going to be reading, writing, adding. And how do we use AI in everything we do at work or at play? Naturally, instinctively, innately. It's not that I'm doing AI now and coming back. No, it will have to be infused in everything we do. Because it's the human plus AI, which is actually going to, or a human plus robotics, which is actually going to become the wave of the future. As all of us will need to become what we call 10x people or 10x professionals, because we're kind of fortified by AI. And that is what is going to allow us to keep our jobs, allow us to thrive in this new environment which is coming in. And frankly, all of us don't need to be AI experts, but we all need to be literate in AI. The same way as you became literate in English and therefore could become a successful professional, go ahead in life, the same way you'll need to become literate in AI. And being literate in AI actually goes back to being human again, being curious, learning new things, becoming as Satya Nadella says, learn it all rather than know it all. Getting excited about it, developing judgment around it, figuring out what's right, what's wrong, developing curiosity, because upstream of a prompt is a question, and upstream of a question is curiosity. And unless you have that, you're never ever going to be working well with AI, because as answers become commodities, it's the questions you ask which will really differentiate you. And so literacy is what you need to do. And as I wrap up, I just want to tell you that, look, as we are in the throes of a new revolution, we are excited about it, but we are also concerned. This revolution doesn't just change, technology or factories or how we work, or it changes everything. And it's here. And if we need to thrive in it, we need to embrace it, become literate in it, rather than becoming an expert in it, in everything out there. So that's what I just wanted to share with you as we close. Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot, Mr. Bindra. Now we'll do a quick round of Q&A with him. MG and I will take it forward from here. MG, you want to start? Okay. Okay, so I'll begin. So thanks, that was very interesting. It gave a very good comprehensive view to us on how AI is not just any new technology, but it has the potential to reshape economies, geopolitics, businesses. But I'm going to go back to the fundamental question that we have also asked in the earlier session about jobs, right? Essentially, it is roti, kapda, makan that we all are, worried about, isn't it? So, and you did speak about the era of intelligence. So, in this new era of intelligence, which I would say is here and now, how do you think it will impact jobs?
How many hours do we have? Look, it's the most asked question to me about jobs. The other one is, will it kill us or not? Okay, but let's tackle the jobs one. It's not a simple answer. Every technology that has come in, the various revolutions I talked about, has destroyed jobs. So about 20 to 30% of jobs will go away. However, certain jobs will not be touched. If you're a construction worker or a farmer, for a while, you're safe. Or a nurse, for that matter. The interesting part, however, is two things. Which one is that every new technology has always created more new jobs than it has destroyed. Every single new technology has always done that. The problem is we don't know what those jobs are and how many of them. So are they going to be prompt engineers? Are they going to be what are called forward deployed engineers? And there's a bunch of new jobs coming in with AI, but we don't know how many. The important part, however, which you must remember, is that about 60% of jobs are going to be impacted in some way or the other. So if you're a software engineer and you use AI-based GitHub Copilot or Cursor, etc., you'll be a better software engineer than someone who doesn't. Similarly, if you're a marketer, similarly, if you're a journalist, similarly, if you're a CEO. And so it's not AI which is going to replace you, but a human being using AI who could. And then it's up to you which side of the equation you want to be. The replacer, in a sense, or the replacee. The last thing I would say, Sonal, is that the job disruption is upon us. It's not in the future. Okay, you've seen that. Especially in the tech jobs, etc., it's already there. And what we know now, is that the bottom rung of the job ladder is breaking. It's the entry-level jobs, because those are skills, not jobs. And as you learn judgment, as you learn institutional knowledge, etc., the human skills, those don't get replaced by AI. And so for the young people, especially, how they use AI to skip the first rung and go straight to the second one is going to be the big one going forward.
Thank you.
Jaspreet, what I wanted to ask you was a point that you talked about, where you said that there's going to be a very dramatic shift in the way you do things. And you even said that, this is going to be, literacy is going to be measured probably using AI also as a component. So that's a very, very interesting statement to make. Where does India stand in this whole, tectonic shift that is happening worldwide? How much more time do we have before we get, really shaken up by some of the things that, you just said?
Look, AI is vast, and there can be like three ways to think about AI, okay, from a country-specific viewpoint. One is, where is research happening, and therefore the new models, the new innovations, etc. happening. The laboratory, the labs, academia, research kind of ecosystem is one. The second is the tech ecosystem, whether it be startups or big companies adopting AI or creating new AI services or products. And the third is the user ecosystem. where is AI being used in terms of countries? Well, the good news is in the user ecosystem, we are like top. We're like up there, okay? Keeping China aside because, they kind of use their own stuff, okay? I think if China is number one, India is number two in terms of adoption of AI, sheer usage of AI across, and that's a very encouraging sign. And even optimism about AI, okay? And how it can alter, change their lives. So that's the good news. The not so good news is in the other two, especially in these research and the innovation part. I think many people before me said that vis-a-vis robotics, but it kind of holds true. We are we are not where we should be by any measure in terms of deep research, R&D. Look, when Mark Zuckerberg, for example, is paying $100 million salaries, he's not giving it to engineers. He's not even giving it to entrepreneurs. He's giving it to researchers. That's where the value is. And so we're not there. And in terms of industry startups, I think we're not leading, but we are not bad. Okay, we're kind of doing our best, and a few good things are happening. Still, many more things can happen. And there are numbers around all of this. If you do the Stanford Research Report, for example, you'll find India being amongst the top 5. But actually, if you peel the onion, you'll find that it's the user base which makes it go up to the top 5. If you remove the user base, we fall away from the top 10.
So we spoke about India, but let's talk about you. You spoke about AI agents and how the new firm or a new organization will have humans and AI agents. And your company has already more AI agents than the people it employs. So can you talk to us about real examples, real case studies on how you are using or rather improving the productivity of your team members using AI agents?
Okay. Just before I answer that, I just wanted to kind of say one more thing in the last question that you asked about India. I also do believe that for us to become amongst the top 3, and the top 2 are already taken, those 1 and 2 are taken, but amongst the top 3, it's not as much about innovation as it's going to be about distribution. In the digital world also, we did not win because of innovation as much as we won by distribution. The whole UPI, Aadhaar, etc., the whole ecosystem where 1.4 billion people, the digital transformation of a nation. I think that's a model for us to actually take AI to 1.4 billion people the same way. And if we do that, the third way, in a sense, we can quickly rise up, not by following what the others are doing, but doing something different. So I just wanted to, as an addendum to the last question that you had. But coming back to this, look, it's early days. So let me say 2-3 things. So first of all, if you look at the startups in mostly the Valley today, you'll find many of them achieving $100 million average ARR status. Forget about valuations, but $150, $200 million. But the team sizes are 1/10 of what used to be for the same amount of revenue. What does that mean? It means that the rest is AI or agents or any other form of AI. The second thing you're going to see is what are called one-person unicorns, okay, where one human being, maybe 1,000 agents creating $1 billion company. A big, great, in a sense, emerging case study is actually NVIDIA itself, where it's galloping ahead at growth rates, revenues which are crazy, which we all know. But the headcount growth is linear, while the revenue growth is exponential. And if you ask Jensen Huang, it's basically that, he's saying that, look, because each human being has become a superhuman because of 3, 4, 5 different agents helping you. And finally, if I come to the smallest company of them all, which is mine, okay, the way we use this, for example, instead of having 5 researchers, because we are a knowledge company, we create huge amounts of knowledge. For that, you need research. And so, basically, today, what it means is you need one good researcher who knows, besides research, should know the domain, but also knows deep research, and which is the best deep research tool, and how to write 4 A4 page kind prompts for structured prompts for deep research. and then therefore do the work of 5 people, frankly. Okay, the same thing is true for visual designers. Instead of 3 of them, 4 of them, you need actually 1 or 2 of them, but who can use Canva AI beautifully well, or the AI version of Figma, or Firefly, or a bunch of others. And those are all literally tools as well as a research part is an agent. You give it work to do, and then it kind of comes back and gives it to you. So that's how we use this and become 3x, 4x of ourselves.
You even used AI to write a chapter in your book. What was the experience? Did it read well?
So let me tell you this story. So my first book was called The Tech Whisperer. It was published by Penguin in 2019. And this was obviously pre-ChatGPT. ChatGPT came in November 2022. It's not even 3 years, and we think it's 30 years. But, so when this book came, one of the things I wanted to do was to have a chapter on AI written by an AI, which sounds very normal today, but was an extremely difficult problem even in 2019. And I had to work with a enterprise AI firm and use what is called an NLP or a natural language programming engine. It took 7 months and about 50,000 to 100,000 rupees for me to create a chapter, 10,000 words of written matter of the history of AI, written by quote unquote an AI. And frankly, it was a useless chapter. That was chapter 13. Chapter 12 was a chapter written on AI by a human being, which was me. And everyone was very happy. They used to read it and say, look, humans are far more superior. So as I decided to redo this 2 years back, not even with these tools. I mean, these tools can do it much faster. This was the time of GPT-4 Turbo, I think it was called. Free version, not even the paid version. And it took me 12 minutes. And obviously the output was far superior to my 7-month output. And so, if you ask me, therefore, what has been the progress in AI in 5 years? It's frankly 7 months divided by 12 minutes, whatever is that number. So yeah, it's amazing. We sometimes, human brains cannot fathom exponential growth. We can't think it in, but that's what is happening.
So what is there for us to look forward to now? I mean, you talked about generative AI has always been there, as you said, but generative AI caught our imagination. Then we talked about Agentic and embedded is the next. So how do you see, the progress that is happening?
Well, there are always 2 scenarios. If you're an optimist, there's great stuff happening. If there's a pessimist, if you're a pessimist, then you have the Terminator scenario. But I'm not the latter, so I'll kind of talk about the optimism scenario. Look, intelligence becoming free is a big thing, is a huge thing. We can harness intelligence, not just information, intelligence. And actually, if we do it well, we have the possibility, and I'm quoting Satya Nadella here, because, there are people who think far better, greater, have a bigger view than I do. We can move to, at a simplistic level, a 10% global GDP growth rate, if we harness that well. If it kind of, this is not with, some major breakthroughs happening. Just massive productivity, power generation, just literacy, every person having a education assistant, healthcare, the basic stuff which is there, you can move towards a 10% growth rate. Now, if you kind of take it to the next level and think of Ray Kurzweil's, etc., the futurists, if we solve the problems that if AI solves the problems that humans couldn't, we have tried very hard. We have tried to solve the problem of global warming. We've been trying to solve the problem of cold fusion, producing energy through fusion rather than fission, and therefore making it like unlimited energy. If we solve the problem of quantum computing, we're heading there, but it's taking its time. If we solve the problem of personalized synthetic proteins and drugs, then we are talking of a totally different level. Okay, and then we are kind of saying that, look, literally you are looking at a global prosperity which is, not 10%, but 10x of what is there right now. And so with this technology more than any other, because it's a creative technology, it's intelligence. It's not just, another IT system, or, it can actually kind of make things grow. That's really what we can look forward to in the next couple of decades.
Excellent. And do you have a word for the youngsters who are listening digitally as well as in this audience today? What is in store, how they have to approach this technology, how they have to brace up their skills, etc.?
The youngsters stopped listening to me when I said that the bottom rung of the job ladder is breaking. Okay, that's when they all went away. But it's true. And you have to face this. Okay, the entry-level jobs are the most impacted. But then, every crisis is an opportunity. And I'll just mention 2 or 3 things, for you. So first of all, AI is here. You have to embrace it. The great thing about I teach at Ashoka, I teach at Singularity. Young people are not really even thinking about, what is the bad stuff that can happen, etc. They're just working with it and taking it forward, and that's what we need to do. Because first is, as I kind of briefly mentioned, that if the bottom rung of the job ladder is breaking, go straight to the second rung. And actually AI can help you do that. It can make you a 10x person. If there was something which your boss was doing, actually with AI you can do your boss's job. And therefore we're looking at that role rather than the entry-level roles. And this is happening. This is not me just saying it started happening in companies and countries across the world. The second thing, frankly, every process of every company, of every industry, of every country is ripe for disruption. Everything. Everything is ripe for change. None of the current ways we work, the end-to-end processes, the workflows, none of them are actually AI ready. And all of them can be drastically transformed or improved with the use of AI. Everything. And so every single process of or workflow of every company is an entrepreneurial opportunity. And the third is that the tools that you have, none of us we've never had, our generation has never had those tools. And so to create companies, the 1% unicorn I talked about, to create anything today, you have so many resources at your disposal. You should be like a kid in a candy shop, okay, rather than, thinking about what is going to happen to my job, etc. And there are a few more things. The last final thing I would say, actually, because it's a little provocative, it's a little controversial, that whoever is doing engineering only, please go and do humanities also. Learn language, learn grammar, learn logic, learn human skills, psychology, curiosity, because it's the mixture of two which is actually going to is what is going to be needed in all the jobs. It's not just pure engineering or STEM education, which so far thrived. That model is breaking, it's broken. So it's going to be both, a mixture of both, and that's the other thing I would say.
So I think that's a good advice to wind up the session. Thank you so much. A big round of applause to Mr. Jaspreet Bindra.